How we doing, fellas? We're going to take a look at the sequence that led up to the knockdown that Jared Anderson scored against Charles Martin. I think it's quite simple, but I really like this sequence, this set piece. I think it shows a lot, and it's a great learning opportunity from the part of Jared Anderson as well as Charles Martin. So I've got the clip up here, and it's going to be playing slightly slower, roughly at around half speed, so we can really take a look and break this down, get into it. So what we see here is some posturing from Jared Anderson, mixing the jab into that motion, which catches out Charles Martin. As we can see, he eats that jab and is being forced away. Jared Anderson is threatening Charles Martin, getting to get out the way, basically. And then what that causes Charles Martin to do is then kind of have that ugly slip and then move off. And Charles Martin is then moving to his right. Of course, this is a southpaw versus southpaw matchup, so Charles Martin is looking to move towards his right side, which is his lead side, and simultaneously throw the jab. And we see the excellent timing of Jared Anderson, because this is a very dangerous thing to do. A lot of the time in boxing, you're told, when in doubt, throw a jab or jab and move. And we can see here that Charles Martin makes the error of looking to jab and move, but just being too close, and he gets timed by that very good overhand left by Jared Anderson. A bit more cuffing around the back of the head. I think Charles Martin's own lead hand, his own right jab, looks to disrupt Jared Anderson a bit. But what we can see here is Jared Anderson in this very pronounced position on the front half of his stance, which has loaded the right side, aka his right hand is now the power punch. And what he does here is he rips back simultaneously as Charles Martin looks to line up his own left hand. Jared Anderson moves from that position, but he does so through that punch. So what he is able to do is be defensive in the sense where he's moving away from Charles Martin's offense, but he's using that movement to power his next punch, which is this right hook here. And we can just see the massive distance, the massive displacement in Jared Anderson's position. So his head has gone from here to over here, really ripping through the target and knocking down Charles Martin in the process. Now there's a really good angle we can look for where we get to see the whole body in motion. And here we go. We see once again Charles Martin stepping, simultaneously jabbing, but just too close. Takes that left hand a little bit, and we can see the position of Jared Anderson here over the front leg. So the right side is loaded, comes back with a punch, simultaneous defense, even though this left hand from Charles Martin might clip him. Because he's moving with the punch, he's almost dampening the impact of it. He's reducing the impulse, so it's not going to be anywhere as near as damaging as if he stayed there or if he had moved into the punch. And we can just see he comes, really rips through the target. This is some great punching mechanics here. Very impressive stuff. And the fact he was able to line up these punches so seamlessly is really impressive from Jared Anderson. However, there are some areas for improvement. And we can see here, I'm not entirely sure the exact reason why, but we can see the impact that Jared Anderson's fist makes, or his glove makes, on the target. It's a little bit loose, and I'm just wondering, maybe there's some, we can see here, there's some looseness in the wrist. And I'm just wondering, is this a bad habit of Anderson's? Is he someone who fights with an overly relaxed hand? Now that's an important point to make, because the tension, the amount of rigidity you have in your hand and your wrist is very consequential. It's very important, because if you think this is what's making an impact, so if it's really soft and limp and not rigid at all, you're going to end up with a slap like this, which, yeah, it still knocks down Charles Martin. But just imagine if that landed on a real sweet spot flush on the knuckles. It would have been much more damaging a punch. I'm not sure whether that is a habit that Jared Anderson is carrying, where, as I say, he's someone who has overly relaxed hands when he's boxing and when he's throwing his punches, or maybe it's something to do with the trajectory of when how he's positioned relative to his opponent. But I suspect Charles Martin in the arc of this punch is positioned quite nicely. So I do suspect it's probably the former, and that Jared Anderson maybe just has a bad habit of not making a fist upon impact. And then regarding Charles Martin and maybe something he could do better, or the lesson we could learn from him, is we get taught how valuable that jab is, but ultimately that jab is still an opportunity for your opponent to counter you. So you have to be really intelligent and really, I want to say, quite mindful in how you apply it. The jab is a very important punch. However, it can still leave you open to counters from your opponent. So you can't just jab willy-nilly. You have to be aware of what position you're in, and if you were to jab, what you're in danger of being hit by potentially. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've tried to make this condensed. I really like this set piece, as I say. I think it shows some great timing and some great techniques and great punching mechanics by Jared Anderson, but also some learning opportunities for him as a fighter and any of you guys who are maybe looking to up your game as boxers yourself. So I hope you guys enjoy. It's been a little while since I've done a study of this kind. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments, and any requests, any of that stuff, I'll get back to you. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll get back to you in the next video.